Okay, we back to regular now. What about now? We good? I stopped. I stopped the music and the sham. I'm gonna say 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 I'm gonna say. Oh, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
I know, right? Shabbat shalom.
Welcome everybody once again to another edition of Studying Scriptures. Welcome to everybody in the live Zoom. We love to see your beautiful faces again. Welcome to everybody that's going to be tuning in on YouTube later. We got all our regulars in the house.
Killer 2 Squad.
Teresa, Koti Kimmy, Ak and Akoti, Gabor and Darren, Shalom, 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 Koti Christina, Koti Shatana, Koti Celeste.
Hey, y'all.
Beautiful to see you guys, family.
We survived another week from
We're still alive.
in Babylon, USA.
Hey.
Woo!
Hey.
Barely made it.
Another week down. With all this craziness going on in the world, in the earth.
I know, man. Getting fierce. The fights are intensifying. Right.
Some interesting stuff that people have been sharing on their YouTube channels and stuff recently. What's the one you just had us watching earlier? Removing the idols from your life.
Oh yeah,
That was interesting.
She was saying how most Christians and even a lot of Hebrew idolize Jesus Christ. Mm-hmm. So there's not just Jesus Christ's image, and she was saying that the danger.
Get the Bible and go to study and pay my Bible.
Shabbat Shalom.
What you say again? I can't hear something.
Shabbat Shalom.
Go ahead.
Oh, she didn't mean it.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. But yeah, how we grew up. A lot of us grew up with that image in our home on the wall. And how that was idol worship. That's all day.
I especially like the point that it sounds like she was making. We're gonna finish watching the video. But it sounds like she was pointing out that if you are awakened or conscious enough to be calling yourself an Israelite or a Hebrew or a Jew or whatever, talking about us, and you have only substituted the white picture of Jesus for a black picture of Jesus, but you're still using this image or this understanding, even not just the physical image, but the understanding of Jesus, and have just substituted it with a picture of a brown skin in your mental. You're still making an idol out of that. Yeah, I don't want to say deity, but that individual. Yeah, of that individual. Whereas Hamashiach, even when he came in the flesh, was very clear to say, worship the Father.
Worship.
Yeah,
Me.
don't stumble at me. Okay. It's all good. Shabbat shalom. Listen, as many technical issues as we have coming in the door,
Dang.
not going to fault you.
Dang, we were struggling over here.
Yeah.
We were struggling.
And then I woke up in the middle of the night to a good documentary to me, good to me anyway. Shabbat shalom, fam. I remember I like lectures and stuff like that anyway. I know some people cringe up at documentaries. But Riv started watching it with me. What?
I know what you were seeing.
I wasn't. Everybody has different ways they use their brain. Right brain, wrong brain, you know. Anyway.
I knew it was gonna come.
So anyway, this was From Jesus to Christ, the beginnings of Christianity. A lot of garbage in this documentary. Shabbat shalom, welcome, welcome. Yeah, there's a lot of trash in this documentary, but it was some good nuggets in there as well, as far as just timeline of events. And it's like 2 or 3 parts, and I think they're probably 2 hours apiece. So I woke up in part 2. I watched about half of that, and then I went back to part 1 and started grabbing notes because it actually was helping flesh out some more of what I'm looking at in Josephus. And this whole timeline of events from during the time Messiah was walking to after Messiah, was crucified, buried, and resurrected, but also what they're referring to as the beginnings of the Christian church. But it's deep. It's some good stuff in there.
You know, one of the things I noticed, and so they keep trying to pair Messiah up with the Essenes instead of the
Zadokites.
You know what I'm saying? And you notice they keep that Zadokite, they keep that hidden, as if to say, if we put that out there, they could grasp
They make a connection. Yeah.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Because if he was a descendant of the Zadokite priesthood, then it makes sense that he'll be Melchizedek because of
A disciple of the Zadokite.
right. You know what I'm saying? So being a descendant of Judah and of the Zadokite priesthood, but they try to.
Yeah.
It was said that he could have been of the Essenes, a group of a branch of Hebrews known for their magic.
Yeah. I've taken to just substituting every time they start talking about the Essenes. I just substitute Zadokites, especially in the origins of what the Essenes were doing. Especially when they talk about this group of people who left Jerusalem because they felt like what was going on in Jerusalem and at the temple was worldly and was not righteous. I attribute that to the Zadokites. However, it is a fact that this group did turn into something more than Zadokites, because it turned into a fringe group of people that started creating this bar of what people had to do to join them. They didn't have to be of the priesthood lineage. They had to go through initiation rituals and stuff like that. So again, the short version of what I want to say is for us in this context is none of this stuff is black and white. None of this stuff is cut and dry. There's a lot of mixing going on, and there's a lot of gray middle that I find going back and finding the details of these situations helps clarify. Right. I personally hate to be someone who is speaking on these matters in ignorance, and then somebody else who's more knowledgeable come and correct you. Not that I don't like correction, but I mean, speaking like I know. In other words, proudly and puffed up.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, and then somebody be like, "No, that's not what happened." Yeah, so I love to continue to dig into research, as do most of y'all, and that's what I love about y'all.
I think that in which the way in which the spirit of the spirit of correction was given.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you can correct somebody and then you can completely like, just I just want to shame you. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel I get powerful when I shame you.
Destroy you. I'm gonna destroy.
Because you make me feel
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I shared a good one too. That was digging into a little bit more of the politics with what's going on over in the Middle East right now. Akdawi, remember you shared that? Me and Ray were checking that out as well, man. Interesting stuff.
This stuff. Now, last time I heard, they
say your mic needs adjusting.
Oh,
Bring it up a little closer to you.
You can't hear me? Am I?
Yeah, but Akdawi, do you think you might be able to post a link to the video you shared in the chat? Coach Kimmy was asking. Yeah, and likewise, y'all. If y'all came across interesting stuff, please share. Share. Hold on. Stop and start scrolling through your phone just like that.
Sometimes they let me know, like something right, sounding like a duck on the mic. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Every time you speak, we hear quack.
So, Coach Tasha, come on. Yeah, this was good. This gives us time to really test out the mics, fam. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, that was right. Okay. Christian Broadcasting Network, if I remember correctly. Which I like. Soon as I see that network at the bottom, I'm like, what they gonna say? Coach Tasha, go ahead.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Did y'all see the video that I posted in the Coty chat rib about them inviting the lost tribes back to Israel?
Yes, girl. Yeah, we watched that, man.
Did you see that? I watched it.
Yeah, remember it was saying that
the Ethiopians?
No, Philippines.
Oh, stop. That's what you were talking about when you said the lost tribes, Coty?
Yeah,
the Filipinos?
Yes, I'm sorry, pregnant. I have to share this with somebody because I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch it?
We did, actually.
We did. We scanned through. Now we didn't do the whole thing. I don't think this was ridiculous. But everybody but Jake.
The crazy part about that is, like, I believe that it's some Filipinos that are part of the tribes of Israel. I believe that. But it's just, I find it odd that all of the Filipinos that they showed was very Eurocentric and very Far East Asian, not like Asiatic black. Even.
Dang.
Teacher.
That's what I said. I was
not
like,
even either. All right, Coach T, they say they need you to share the link in here too. Share the link.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty tripped out. Because I was like, I was about to cuss. I'm like, what the is this? Yeah, everybody but Jake, come on in.
But it's like that video circling around. Cousin Tasha tell us about a couple weeks ago when they had that woman, that each woman delivering some kind of speech at some kind of meeting or secret meeting or whatever. When she was saying that the biggest problem facing the people, the ish people, is the young African American males. Yep. Or young African American youth.
No, I didn't. I was about to. I don't cuss. I don't. My temper don't raise. I don't yell. I don't shout. But yes, my task is off.
Okay, I don't know. Okay. I just put them to person to see that. Pay close attention to the blue string and
I rarely cuss. Rarely cuss.
Right. Let me say. Yeah, look. It's crazy. The boy, my son said the same thing. He's like, we got to get out of the house when the roof started falling in.
Stop.
And then,
Stop.
I think she's like, even with your tassels on.
Right. I confess, I'm still a mess. It's never my fault, though. It's their fault. Their fault. I'm a mild mannered. I speak like,
Mr. Rogers.
yeah. I'm just saying that for
The
you.
Mr. Rogers syndrome.
I'm saying that for you.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is, man. Every once in a while, they take you there.
Hey.
Every time you try to get out,
Yeah, right.
pull you back.
Yeah, right.
So, are y'all ready to get into this? Where we at? We in Samuel, 2 Samuel, picking up in chapter 13. As we get into, I'm saying this because of what I was looking at this morning. As we get into some of these other books, if I have some background research and understanding on the books, when they were written, and what was going on surrounding the writings of them, I may start sharing those as we enter into those. What are you laughing at? What's up, buddy?
Devil. It's the devil.
All right. Coach told out for sharing that link. Okay. Picking up in 2 Samuel chapter 13. Whose turn is the reading of?
I thought you just let me go first forever.
You say you okay with
I
that?
thought ladies first.
Okay, go for it then.
All right. So we're picking up in 2 Samuel chapter 13.
I don't want you to change that when it's a short chapter.
You calling me Indigo?
That's your mom.
Okay. That's all right. Okay. And after this it came to me that Absalom, son of David, had a beautiful sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, son of David, loved her. And Amnon was distressed, even to become sick, because of his sister Tamar, for she was a maiden. And it was hard in the eyes of Amnon to do whatever to her. And Amnon had a friend whose name was Yehonadab, son of Shimon, David's brother, was his cousin. Now Yehonadab was a very wise man. And he says to him, why are you, the sovereign son, becoming dinner day after day? Explain it to me. And Amnon said to him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. So this Negro just said he loves his sister.
Right.
And Yehonadab said to him,
So by another mother, more than likely.
Yeah, still
Still a sister.
Yeah.
Still a sister. And at this point in time, in this dispensation, as Pastor would probably say, this was no longer okay. This ain't been okay for a long time at this point. There was a point in time in reality, family, where this did happen because the earth had to be populated, contrary to some people's belief, because that is a question when people are trying to understand the Bible that people have, especially when you're young, especially when you're young in your research too. It's like, well, okay, how did the earth get populated? Was it only Adam, Eve, and their children? Yes, according to what we read, even the extracurricular reading resources. Yes, that's what it was. Adam and Eve had a lot more children outside of just Cain, Abel, and Seth. And yes, that happened. But by the time Moshe came on the scene, if not before, by the time Moshe came on the scene, it was a clear line and clear divide drawn. And it was said at that point, this you do not do. Okay.
Speaking of siblings, children, we saw one at Walmart the other day.
But I'm wrong?
I'm saying you just gotta respect in my mental illness. This man, he don't have no respect for mental illness. That baby was okay. The boy, he had to be about 250 pounds, but he was like 7 years old. Okay, you say 10. I think he was like 7.
He wasn't. I'm agreeing with him though. He was like 10, 11, 12. And he was riding in the basket.
Somebody helped him get in
and
the
he
basket.
was jerking back and forth in that basket, banging stuff on the basket and crying, but wasn't shedding
Like
any
he
tears.
wanted like some of the snacks early, so he was like, Mom, I want the bam sandwich.
You can't do
He
that.
was just
You
like,
can't do that.
I'm trying to show
You
you.
can't do that.
But he was rocking in the basket, and his mama was pushing him, like trying to keep the basket from, doing something dangerous with
Like
that weight.
rolling over.
Yeah, with him rocking, you know what I'm saying? And he's just like, he just studied, crying for.
Let me say, let me say, get your siblings over there with you so they can be reading along. Let me say with a straight face and all sincerity, this child was not retarded.
He was.
This child was not. This child wasn't MI, as y'all say. He was BA. He was a badass. And all I was saying was what he was doing was nothing that a good firm backhand wouldn't have stopped.
I think he was misleading because,
He
like,
was
every
not.
time they passed, he was like,
No,
"No, I want the turkey
it
wing."
wasn't. This
No,
was
I
this
want,
no.
you know,
This was
everything.
this was a case of a Gentile not parenting their child. That's all it was. I'm telling you. That's all it was. Y'all seen that in the grocery stores before, right? Somebody just letting their child do whatever the hell they want. And it's like, so you imposing your child's badness on the rest of us. We got to sit up here and watch your child act an ass in the store. And then you looking around like you don't know what to do. I know what to do. Would you like a suggestion? I can help you with that.
I really think that his parenting were siblings. Point blank.
And I'm the one that's wrong.
But but this is why we all say let's not do this. But Absalom,
It was ready to create support.
not Absalom, but his brother was
Yeah.
ready.
Yonadab.
Yonadab.
Okay.
No, Yonadab is the cousin. Okay, here we go.
I'm on.
So now,
I'm sorry.
Now Yonadab said to him, "Lie down on your bed and pretend to be sick. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, 'Please let my sister Tamar come and give me food.'
This is bad advice.
And make the food before my eyes so that I see it and eat it from her hand." So, so Amnon lay down and pretended to be sick. And when the servant came to see him, so when Dawid came through, Amnon said to Dawid, "Please let Tamar, my sister, come and make a couple of cakes for me before my eyes so that I eat from her hand." So he had a taste for pancakes, and he wanted her to feed him the pancakes. And Dawid sent Tamar to the house, saying, "Please go to the house of your brother Amnon and make food for him." So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house while he was lying down, and she took dough and kneaded it and made cakes before his eyes and baked the cakes. And she took the pan and turned them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, "Make everyone go away from me." And they all went away from him. And Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food into the bedroom that I eat from your hands." And Tamar took the cakes which she had made and brought them to Amnon, her brother, in the bedroom. And she brought them in to him to eat, and he took hold of her and said to her, "Come lie with me, my sister." And she answered him, saying, "No, my brother,
No, brother.
do not humble me, for it is not done so in all Israel. Do not do this wickedness. And could I take my shame? And you would be like one of the fools in Israel."
Where could I take my shame?
Okay. Oh, and I wouldn't be able to show my face no more.
Yes.
And now please speak to the sovereign, for he would not withhold me from you. For he would not withhold me from you. But he would not listen to her voice, and being stronger than she, he humbled her and lay with her, so he raped her. Amnon then hated her exceedingly. So after he got that fever out of him, then he realized, yeah, and then that guilt came, that this unclean feeling came down on him. And so that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, bound.
Okay, pause there for a second, because I want to. It's two things I want to point out here. You reading along with us, Noah? Okay, it's two things I want to point out here. Number one, I want to point out that this is a problem among Israel, right? Even to this day, and the statistics of young ladies who are inappropriately touched or fondled or approached in some way or outright raped by someone in the family is ridiculously high. Second thing, we see what's going on here. This is not new, is what I'm saying. Secondly, he immediately hated her after is because he was possessed by a wicked spirit when his lust grew to that proportion in the first place. He was possessed. Once the spirit got him to do that, it left. It was gone. It had done what it wanted him to do. And now he left with the shame of knowing, oh, you done messed up.
And that happened most times.
That happens even in real life right now when we do stuff that we know we're not supposed to do. When we have to be able to admit, 2 Samuel 13, we have to be able to admit sometimes when we are dealing with a possession. And notice it yourself. I notice it myself. When you come up out of that possession, how bad you feel, how unclean you feel, how mad you may feel with others that participated with you in that, whatever it is, right? This is not new, and this is not only, and we could look at him in all kind of bad ways, but there's a lot of sins that is just sins, right? So we can't really say, oh, I didn't do that, I did something else.
Yeah.
Sin.
You have people who experience that with pornography.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the fever on you, think away. And then, when that spirit leaves you, then you're like, oh, I just feel unclean. But I'm
guilty of that.
Watching this guy.
Mm-hmm.
On, it's a true crime.
Okay.
And so he was saying how he always fantasized about killing people. And he said, he always fantasized about feeling the flesh, just dark.
Okay.
So, my mic off again?
No, it's not off.
He said, "Red mic off." He said better. How about now, y'all? How is that?
You got a problem. Go ahead.
What? Now, can y'all hear me now? Oh my goodness. Y'all hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
The story's go.
Okay, good.
The story's go. Let's just pick up where he's bad. Dang.
Let's do that. No. Yes, you're right. Let's pick up.
Okay.
But I hear you.
Right.
I understand what you mean.
I know that. Okay, I just go through it. Okay. But okay. So he told her about it.
Yep.
So, and she said to him, "No, for this evil of sending me away is worse than the other you have done to me."
What verse is that for
16.
Noah and myself?
Verse 16. But he would not listen to her. And he called his young man serving him and said, "Now put this one out, away from me, and bolt the door behind me." And she had on a long coat, for the servants' maiden daughters wore such garments. And his servant put her out and bolted the door behind her. And Tamar put ashes on her head and tore her long coat that was on her, and put her hand on her head and went away crying bitterly. And Absalom, her brother, said to her,
This is the problem.
has Amnon, your brother, been with you? But now keep silent, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this matter to heart. So Tamar remained in the house of her brother Absalom, but was ruined.
More bad advice.
And the sovereign Dawid heard all these reports, and he was very wroth. And Absalom spoke to his brother Amnon, neither good nor evil. For Absalom hated Amnon because he had humbled his sister Tamar. And it came to be, after 2 years, that Absalom had a sheep shearers in Baal Hatzor, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the sons of the sovereign. And Absalom came to the sovereign and said, see, your servant has sheep shearers. Please let the sovereign and his servants go with your servants. But the sovereign said to Absalom, no, my son, let us not all go now, lest we be too heavy on you. And he urged him, but he would not go, and he blessed him. And Absalom said, if not, please let my brother Amnon go with us. And the sovereign said to him, why should he go with us? And Absalom urged him, so he let Amnon and all the sons of the sovereigns go with him. And Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, watch, and when the heart of Amnon is glad with wine, and I shall say to you, strike Amnon, then kill him. Do not be afraid. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and brave. Then the servants of Absalom did to Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the sons of the sovereign rose up, one mounted his mule and fled. And it came to be, while they were on the way, that news came to Dawid, saying, Absalom has stricken all the sons of the sovereign, and not one of them is left. And the sovereign rose up and tore his garments and lay on the ground, and all his servants stood by with their garments torn. And Jonadab, son of Shimei.
Okay. I apologize. I was in the wrong spot.
Okay. And Jonadab, son of Shimei, Dawid's brother, answered and said, do not let my master say they have killed all the young men, the sons of the sovereign, for only Amnon is dead. For by the mouth of Absalom, this one has been appointed from the day that he humbled his sister Tamar. Now he was so quick to trick, but did he tell about how he was the one that put Amnon up to that dirty deed? Absolutely not. And now let not my master the sovereign take the matter to his heart, to think that all the sons of the sovereign are dead, for it is only Amnon. And Absalom fled. And the young man who was watching lifted up his eyes and looked and saw many people were coming from the way behind him and on the side of the hill. Then Jonadab said to the sovereign, look, the sons of the sovereign are coming. As your servant said, so it is. And it came to be, as soon as he had finished speaking, that look, the sons of the sovereign came, and they lifted up their voices and wept, and the sovereign too, and all his servants wept very bitterly. But Absalom fled and went to Talmaiah, son of Ammihud, sovereign of Geshur, and Dawid mourned for his son all the days. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur, and was there 3 years. Sovereign Dawid then longed to go to Absalom, for he had been comforted concerning Amnon, because he was dead.
It's right out of Days of Our Lives.
That's how I'm saying. People are like, the Bible had any. Yeah, please, the Bible was full of drama.
Hey, Shalom, Koti Gilead.
Shalom, Koti.
Okay, picking up in chapter 14. But just like you knew this was not in Dawid's kingdom, somebody was going to rectify the situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way in the world that man was going to live long. 2 years, I can only imagine Absalom, especially after saying to her, don't tell nobody. You now dealing with it, she dealing with it, you watching her probably get worse and worse in her depression and just not well in life. He probably was overcome. with his own guilty.
And you remember how them boys responded when their sister got raped.
Yep.
And so that's the thing. You can't tell now because the Hebrew men, I'm not talking about those centuries, those, kind of treat black women like trash sometimes. But back in the day, that ain't how it was. Like, back in the day, if a Hebrew male had even heard that, they had black women on their videos dancing, you know what I'm saying, barely dressed and exploiting them, it would have went down. Yeah. It would have went down. Like, you ain't gonna put our women. So notice how many other nationality of women, like, do you ever see, any Muslim women in videos? Do what's his name? We the best. DJ Khaled, do he ever have women in the hijab? Is it the hijab? The job, hijab, and the hijab with a bikini on, working in his videos? No.
The only time you do see that is if they're very Americanized. Muslim women don't do that. Now, here's the other thing, the flip side to that. Well, in line with what you're saying, I always think about how in the urban communities that we live in, they have stores in those communities where they sell liquor and pork and all that, but then they also sell all of these skimpy outfits for our women, but they don't allow their own women to wear.
No.
They will flirt with young Israelite women, but if a young so-called African American male would flirt with their sister or auntie or whatever, they would cut that off right the jump. This is more in line with how we probably were, right? Even to the extreme, maybe not as extreme, but even to the point of now we clearly see that some places in the Middle East don't allow their women to go out unattended to. Not just their wives, but their sisters, their mothers, their daughters, their nieces. They are chaperoned with cousins and brothers who are there to watch out for their well-being. This is not an oppression. This is protection. This is protection from people that ain't supposed to be addressing you wrong, addressing you in the wrong way, but also to make sure that what just happened here, that type of stuff ain't going on. Getting snatched up and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, though, this demonocracy over here in what old boy called this damn America is spread so feverishly that you got women over there fighting to be set free from their protection. And I'm not saying they don't oppress them. I understand that they do, but I'm talking about what in their culture is similar to how our culture probably was. That's the only part I'm talking about. Coty said after what happened to Tamar, she wouldn't have been able to get married. More than likely. More than likely. Yep.
Because nobody was marrying, nobody was marrying a woman that wasn't hers.
It would have had been a big. It would have been a big step for somebody to say, "I'm gonna take her anyway," even though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, chapter 14. And Joab, son of Zeruiah, knew that the heart of the sovereign was toward Absalom. So Joab sent to Tekoa and brought from there a wise woman and said to her, please pretend to be a mourner and put on mourning garments. And do not anoint yourself with oil, but act like a woman who has been mourning for a long time for the dead. You know what I just read there? Let your head lack no oil when you ain't in mourning. A little oil on the ash. I'm trying to tell this to my children. Slide some oil. So he said, don't put oil on like you would on a daily basis, but throw some ash on because you're in mourning. Then you shall go to the sovereign and speak to him according to this word. And Joab put the words in her mouth. And when the woman of Tekoa spoke to the sovereign, She fell on her face to the ground and did obeisance and said, "Save, O sovereign." And the sovereign said to her, "What is your trouble?" And she answered, "Truly, I am a widow, and my husband is dead. And your female servant had two sons, and the two fought with each other in the field, and there was no one to part them. But the one struck the other and killed him. And see, the entire clan has risen up against your female servant and said, Give him who struck his brother, so that we put him to death for the life of his brother, whom he killed, and destroyed the heir also. Thus they would extinguish my burning coal that is left, and leave to my husband neither name nor remnant on the earth." And the sovereign said to the woman, "Go to your house, and let me give commands concerning you." And the woman of Tekoa said to the sovereign, "My master, O sovereign, let the crookedness be on me and on my father's house, and the sovereign and his throne be guiltless." And the sovereign said, "Whoever speaks to you, bring him to me, and let him no longer touch you." And she said, "Please let the sovereign remember Yahuwah, your power, and the Redeemer of blood, not destroy any more, lest they destroy my son." I'm digesting as I read, fam. I apologize. Lest they destroy my son. And he said, "As Yahuwah lives, not one hair of your son shall fall to the ground." And the woman said, "Please let your female servant speak a word to my master, the sovereign." And he said, "Speak." And the woman said, "And why have you reasoned like this against the people of Yahuwah? For in speaking this word, the sovereign is as one who is guilty in that the sovereign does not bring his outcast one home again." Who's he talking about? Absalom. "So you got one, you ain't bring him home. For we shall certainly die and become like water spilled on the ground, which is not gathered up again. Yet Yahuwah does not take away a life, but shall devise ways so that his outcast ones are not cast out from him. And now I have come to speak this word to my master the sovereign, because the people have made me afraid." And your female servant said, "Please let me speak to the sovereign." It could be that the sovereign does what his female servant asks. For the sovereign has listened to deliver his female servant from the hand of man seeking to destroy me and my son together from the inheritance of Yahuwah. Then your female servant said, "Please let the word of my master, the sovereign, be comforting. For my master, the sovereign, is the messenger of Yahuwah in discerning the good and the evil. And Yahuwah, your power, is with you." And the sovereign answered and said to the woman, "Please do not hide the matter that I am asking you." And the woman said, "Please let my master, the sovereign, speak." And the sovereign said, "Is the hand of Joab with you in all of this? Because I smell something fishy." And the woman answered and said, "As your being lives, my master, you are smarter than I. No, my master, the sovereign, no one turns to the right or to the left from all that my master, the sovereign, has spoken." In other words, what you said is exactly what it is, without me saying his name, because he told me don't say his name. "For your servant Joab commanded me, and he put all these words in the mouth of your female servant. Your servant Joab has done this to change the appearance of the matter. But my master is wise, according to the wisdom of a messenger of Yahuwah, to know all that is in the earth." And the sovereign said to Joab, "See, now you shall do this matter, and go and bring back the young man Absalom." And Joab fell to the ground on his face and did obeisance and blessed the sovereign. And Joab said, "Today your servant knows that I have found favor in your eyes, my master, O sovereign, in that the sovereign has done the word of his servant." And Joab rose up and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the sovereign said, Let him return to his own house, but do not let him see my face. So I'm still not happy, but let him go home. He doesn't have to live ostracized anymore in exile. Okay. And Absalom went to his own house and did not see the sovereign's face. And in all Israel, there was no one who was praised as much as Absalom for his handsomeness. From the sole of his foot to the crown of his head, there was no blemish on him. And when he cut his hair of his head, for it was at every year's end that he cut it, because it was heavy on him, when he cut it, he weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels by the sovereign's weight. That's a lot of hair. And to Absalom were born 3 sons and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar. She was a woman of beautiful appearance. And Absalom dwelt in Jerusalem 2 years, and he had not seen the sovereign's face. Then Absalom sent for Joab to send him to the sovereign, but he would not come see him. And he sent again a second time, but he would not come. He knew what he was going to do. And he said to his servant, see, Joab's field is near mine, and he has barley there. Go set it on fire. What? And Absalom's servant set the field on fire. And Joab rose up and came to the house of Absalom to see him directly, and said to him, why have your servants set my field on fire, brother? Okay. And I'm going to tell y'all something about Absalom, and I believe this with all my heart. I believe that when King David gave Absalom the pass, it made Absalom believe something that wasn't true, that he had the green light to come back and everything was going to be okay. Everything was never okay after that. But Absalom kept taking liberties with David's kindness. And I think that comes back to bite Absalom later on.
Took time to point out that he was kind of big headed, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody was in the kingdom basically worshiped him because he was beautiful.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he was a little big headed.
Okay. This is going to be a problem, y'all. This is going to be a problem. Okay. 31, told up. Then Joab rose up and came to the house of Absalom and said, why, my brother, have your servants set my field on fire? I need you to tell me something. And Absalom said to Joab, look, I sent to you saying, come here. He had to be older. So that I send you to the sovereign to say, what have I come from Geshur? It was good for me while I was there. And now let me see the sovereign's face. And if there's any crookedness in me, then you should put me to death. Joab then went to the sovereign and informed him, and he called for Absalom. And he came to the sovereign and bowed himself on his face to the ground before the sovereign. And the sovereign kissed Absalom. Listen, Absalom had to be the big brother, I believe. First of all, for Joab not to go upside his head. Secondly, I believe Joab knew what Absalom was going to ask him, and that's why he wasn't coming. So he went after Absalom really impressed upon him why he needed him there, and he went on and did it. And I believe it's probably because Absalom was going to cause him more problems if he didn't go ahead and do it. How does this turn out, though? We'll see. One other thing real quick, I just want to point out. 2 different instances you see that somebody bowed to the sovereign and did obeisance. Y'all understand what that word is, right? This is a very similar term to worship. Like it's synonymous. We see in several places here, not just here, but throughout scriptures, that there's a different type of this for the Heavenly Father than there was for certain people. But there was this for certain people. I'm saying this because this system of government that y'all put in place was an aristocracy, according to what we read. It's just the fact of the matter. He put a family in place that was going to rule. That's what aristocracy is. He put a family in place that was going to be a priesthood. That's what aristocracy is. These were supposed to be human representatives of the Heavenly Father on earth. They had a measure of respect that caused men to bow down and do obeisance to them. You just read it. Okay. I do believe there's a different form of reverence for the Heavenly Father, but we see what it is. We see that we're reading that. As a matter of fact, we see Joab say, no, the young lady say, you have the wisdom of one of Yah's messengers. I don't think she was just paying lip service. I think that if we believe that Dawid was a prophet, she understood that Dawid was who Yah was smiling on when he was smiling on. And that was something to not to take lightly, if this was who Yah was anointing to be in this position. Okay. I would agree with you, Coach Keisha, that Absalom took advantage of his grace and mercy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he sure did. Yep. I don't think this is gonna last though. Okay. Like 33 or so. 33, 36, 33, 34. Oh, I mean, 17, 18, something like that.
All right. And it came to me after this that Absalom prepared a chariot and horses for himself, and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom used to rise early and stand beside the way to the gate.
50 men.
And it came to be whenever anyone who had complaints or came to the sovereign for a right ruling, that Absalom. Y'all can hear me?
No, we can now. And I think it's when you lean back, we can't hear you. But when you lean forward, we can.
Is it low even when I'm leaning forward?
No, no. When you lean forward, you loud and clear.
Okay. All right.
We're gonna get it figured out.
If this microphone get any closer, I'm gonna have to clip it to my teeth.
We're gonna clip it on her earring.
Okay. And so Absalom would call to him and say, "What city are you from?" And when he said, "Your servant is from such and such a tribe of Israel."
I apologize. Go back to 2, because this is Absalom has definitely taken liberties with that kiss that his father gave him. He didn't take that to mean something that I don't read anywhere that we said.
Well, his head's so big at this point, you know what I'm saying? Not only have he got away with killing his brother, you know what I'm saying? Yep. The sovereign invited him back, everybody telling him how beautiful he is.
Yeah.
So he's like, you know what I'm saying? Naturally,
yeah.
Quite naturally, I need to be running the kingdom. And is this Dawid's oldest?
Absalom?
Mm-hmm.
If not the oldest one of those, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so his head big right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so and Absalom used to rise. Okay, here we go. Oh, you said it's the third son? Wow.
Third son, so that's it.
And Absalom used to rise early and stand beside the way to the gate. And it came to be, whenever anyone who had complaints came to the sovereign for a right ruling, that Absalom will call to him and say, "What city are you from?" And when he said, "Your servant is from such and such a tribe of Israel," Absalom will say to him, "Look, your matters are good and right, but you have nobody from the sovereign to hear you." And Absalom will say, "Oh, that I were made judge in the land, and everyone who has any complaints or cases could come to me, and I shall let right be done to him." And it came to be, whenever anyone came near him to bow down to him, that he would put out his hand and take hold of him and kiss him. And Absalom did this to all Israel, and it came to the sovereign for right ruling. And Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel. And it came to be at the end of 40 years that Absalom said to the sovereign, please let me go to Hebron and pay the vow which I vowed to Yahuwah. For your servant vowed a vow while I dwelt in Geshur in Aram, saying, if Yahuwah indeed brings me back to Jerusalem, then I shall serve Yahuwah. And the sovereign said to him, go in peace. And he rose up and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, as soon as you hear the voice of the shofar, then you shall say, Absalom is sovereign in Hebron.
This dude is wicked, man.
And with Absalom went 200 men from Jerusalem who were invited, and they went along unsuspectfully and did not know the matter at all. Absalom also sent for Ahithophel, the Gilonite, counselor of David, from his city, from Gilo, while he slaughtered. And it came to be that the conspiracy became potent, but the people with Absalom kept increasing. Then a messenger came to David, the hearts of the men of Israel are with Absalom. And David said to all his servants who were with him at Jerusalem, rise up and let us flee, for none of us shall escape from Absalom. Go in haste, lest he overtake us quickly and bring evil upon us, and strike the city with the edge of the sword. And the sovereign servants said to the sovereign, look, your servants shall do accordingly to all my master the sovereign chooses. And the sovereign went out, and all his household at his feet. But the sovereign left 10 women, concubines, to look after the house. So the sovereign went out, and all the people at his feet, and they stood still at the last house.
Wow. Hold on one second. Okay, family. Y'all didn't hear me, did you?
Yeah, who can guess what Mr. Comic Collector said over here?
Okay, picking up at
18.
verse 18. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Okay. And all this, let's put yours where mine is. Try this again. How about that?
Yes, that's working right.
Okay. And all the servants were passing on at his side, and all the Kerethites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gittites, 600 men who had followed him from Gath, were passing on before the sovereign. And the sovereign said to Ittai, the Gittite, why do you go so also with us? Turn back and remain with the sovereign, for you are a foreigner and also an exile from your own place. You don't have to deal with this, man. You could go in safety. They're not gonna kill you. It's basically what he's saying. They're not looking for you, they're looking for us. You came yesterday, and should I today make you wander up and down with us where I am going, wherever I'm going? No, return. Take your brothers back. Loving commitment and truth will be with you. And Ittai answered the sovereign and said, as Yahuwah lives, and as my master the sovereign lives, in whatever place my master is sovereign, whether in death or life, let your servant also be there. Therefore, David said to Ittai, go and pass over. And Ittai the Gittite and all his men and all the little ones who were with him passed over. And all the land was weeping with a loud voice, and all the people were passing over. And the sovereign himself was passing over the Wadi Kidron. And all the people were passing over toward the way of the wilderness. And see, Zadok also came, and all the Levites with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah. And they set down the ark of Yahuwah And Abiathar went up until all the people completed passing over from the city. And the sovereign said to Zadok, take the ark of Yahuwah back to the city. If I find favor in the eyes of Yahuwah, then he shall bring me back and show me both it and his dwelling. But if he says thus, I have not delighted in you, here I am, and let him do to me as it seems good in his eyes. And the sovereign said to Zadok, the priest, are you not a seer? Don't you see? Are you not a seer? Return to the city and see for me. I need somebody to give me word about what's going on. This you didn't see? No, he didn't say that. But he says, are you not a seer? Return to the city in peace, and you and your sons with you. Ahimaaz, your son, Jehonathan, son of Abiathar. See, I am waiting in the desert plains of the wilderness until word comes from you to inform me. I need an informer, Mr. Informer. And Zadok and Abiathar took the ark of Elohim of Yahuwah back to Jerusalem, and they remained there. And Dawid went up to by the ascent of the Mount of Olives. Oh, this was a specific ascent at the Mount of Olives. I just read that differently for the first time. Okay. And wept as he went up. And he had his head covered and went barefoot. And all the people who were with him covered their heads and went up, weeping as they went up. And Dawid was informed, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And Dawid said, O Yahuwah, I pray you, make the counsel of Ahithophel foolish. And it came to be that Dawid came to the summit where he bowed himself before Yahuwah and saw Hushai, the Archite, coming to meet him with his robe torn and dust on his head. And Dawid said to him, if you pass on with me, then you shall become a burden to me. But if you return to the city and say to Absalom, I am your servant, O sovereign, once servant of your father, but now I am your servant, then you shall nullify the counsel of Ahithophel for me. And are not Zadok and Abiathar the priest with you there? And it shall be that every matter you hear from the sovereign's house, you shall report to Zadok and Abiathar the priests. See, there with them are their two sons, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jehonathan, Abiathar's son. And by them you shall send me every matter you hear. And Hushai, Dawid's friend, went into the city, and Absalom came unto YAHUSHUA. Ooh-wee, it's getting thick. It's getting thick. My man said, I'm gonna put this in y'all's hands. And this is one of the things that I believe even in our daily lives. This is something I take with me, and I think it applies. A lot of times, people say, I'm putting stuff in y'all's hands, so I'm gonna wait on y'all. It don't mean be lazy. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean like sit back and on the couch and watch TV and potato chips. If you feel like Yah has something for you, or if you feel like Yah is calling you to do something or causing something to happen, yeah, you can move in that direction. If he don't have it for you, he'll let you know. He'll let you know. Roadblocks will pop up, obstructions, all kind of stuff. If it's for you, a lot of time, doors swing wide open. You be like, oh wow, that was Yah. Okay. Well, man said, yes, I'm gonna stay out here and wait on Yah. But listen, I need you to go find out what's going on for me. Let me know. Mm-hmm. Let me know what's happening. It is, sis. It is. Now we're gonna pause right there for the day. Listen, we could go on and on, I'll be honest with you. But if we don't have a clear cutoff point, it'll keep going on and on. It'll go on and on. But I agree, it is. Yeah, but y'all want to talk about it? Y'all got any comments? Feel free. What y'all think about old Absalom? 200 shekels of hair. Man, Come on up and go T. You got it.
My thoughts is when Dawid did what he did to Uriah and Bathsheba, and Yah said that it was going to be strife in his house. I think Dawid forget that part of the punishment because it's been so long. And now his children is old. And I'm looking like 40 years. Dawid is old. That's the only reason Absalom coming at him like that. Dawid is old.
Yeah, I agree.
Because ain't no way. He would have did that with no young Dawid. Ain't no way.
Yeah, for Absalom to be able to.
And I think
you know, Absalom, it's because Absalom was young and handsome, and Dawid, then they don't have that same Dawid from his youth, the same Dawid that slew Goliath, you know?
And yeah, I don't know if Dawid forgot about it or not, sis, but the prophecy was sure that it was going to be ripped away violently, that his house was going to be ripped apart and it was going to be violent. And that's exactly what we're seeing. The rape of a daughter, the murder of a son.
And I think I said like more of his sons don't die. Didn't he say he didn't just say that one child was gonna die? He was like your sons.
Oh yeah, well now you got a son coming at your head. What you think gonna happen to this son coming at the throne? Yeah, it gives
true.
me. Coach says
And
it's just
then
not the good part. Go ahead, sis.
and then in chapter 14, verse 11, when he says, and she said, please let the siren remember Yahuwah Elohim and the Redeemer of blood not destroyed anymore. It made me think of like, is she talking about the covering of the blood of Yahushua, or is she talking about the sacrificing of the animals or the bloodshed of the son?
She's talking about the Redeemer, which is
Redeemer.
so we're in the so-called Old Testament. So Yahushua in the flesh is not a concept at this point. But what they are in communication with among the nation of Israel and familiar with is what we read is referred to as either Yahuwah or the master or the master or the spirit of Yah or you know those are the references that we see. The spirit of Yah, the master, the messenger of Yah. And so this is who the reference is. This is the Redeemer that would be referenced by Isaiah and all of them. And so, good question though, because it asks your question asks us to put in the proper place the Ruach. What is the proper place for the Ruach? Because that's what they're dealing with, from what I understand.
Okay.
When they are visited by the word, when the Malak Yahuwah comes and speaks to them, and when they are making reference to all of the things that the Master has done for them in their travels through the wilderness, this is the deliverer and the redeemer that they are referencing. Does that make sense? Would you word that differently? Maybe I'm not saying it right.
No, I mean that. So also, you know, it's got to be so they know the children, they know how the Urim and the Thummim work, and so they know that through these priests, you know, Abiyah perform miracles. And so absolutely everybody would have known. Now we just lost our spirituality in this, you know, these but them back then they would have known.
Okay.
They would have known.
So remember when by the time we read the book of John, we're reading about the word that became flesh and pitched his tent among men. But the word was here also. And so that's what they were doing.
When you see, you know, temple being built, when the temple got built and Shlomo and them, they said the spirit filled the temple, and you know, so there was some signs of the manifestation of the spirit there. You know, even if it was just with the priest with that Urim and Thummim. Urim and Thummim, you know what I'm saying? There was always something what the world will call magical or mystical about Jerusalem. You know what I'm saying? Like that Jerusalem was one of those cities, like when you see, okay, so just imagine, just think about all the little fairy tales we watched as a child. So think about the movie Willow. Who's seen Willow?
Is that a fairy tale?
Yeah.
I get your point.
Yeah. But we need to travel to Emerald City, kind of thing. So that's how Jerusalem was, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Back in the day. People was like, we need to go to and scripture says it's gonna be like that again at the end at the end, that people gonna come up, we need to go up, you know what I'm saying? And so yeah, the people there definitely knew the power of that place.
Hey, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. And of course, he was sitting on the throne, which again, just I direct us back to how she was approaching him.
King. He was king.
She was approaching him as if he was endowed with the power to redeem the individual that she was referencing, if that wasn't just an anecdote. If this was an actual individual, the king would have been endowed with that power. Yeah, I let him live.
People have seen the power in King Dawid. Several times King Dawid did things where people was just mystified, like,
Okay.
several times.
Okay. Anybody else? Got a question, people? I'm joking.
All right, well, my Santa Claus. Ready to get it? Oh,
family. Go ahead, sis. We're gonna pick up on this documentary I was telling y'all about.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. What I saw or kind of saw was Absalom was kind of like what you see with the current people now saying that we should be worshiping them.
Mhm.
Like it's kind of to like separating the people to make it where we weren't following Dawid, who was the voice right then at that moment, to make us go and start to follow something that's false by. But friend, it was kind of like how you say, okay, you gotta pray, you gotta send money, and you gotta help the people there now, and because we are who it is, but taken away from what's going on, what should have been. I know I'm wording and jumbled. I'm sorry, but like
No.
we were supposed to be following how King Dawid was there and everything is set in place. And so now I'm gonna tell you, like kind of how you see the videos and it say, well, you're not, you might be one of the 12 tribes, but you can't come back unless you become part
Let's
of
convert to
Jewish and
Judaism.
not, yeah. And so Absalom to me was kind of that for that time. Like he was pulling them away from what was set in place and what we knew that we was working, but I'm gonna be a divide within the system. That's what I saw.
No, you got an excellent point, sis. Matter of fact, as we were reading that, I was thinking the same thing. This was a very political, this is a very political move he made, that then devolved into treachery and violence, right? So at first it was like, it's a step-by-step process. He was playing chess, right? First, let me get back into the city. Now that I'm back into the city, let me get back in my father's good graces. Once I get back in my father's good graces, now he riding through the streets with chariots, with his chest puffed out, 50 men in front of him, so that he is now highly esteemed. He's got his father's blessing, so the people think he's highly esteemed. And then now it's like, okay, let me stop. And it say he reached out his hand, people, not for them to kiss his hand, but for him to kiss them. Politicking. Like they say, shaking hands and kissing babies when they're on a political campaign. So he kissing everybody, loving on everybody. You got a situation over there, or you got a situation. Man, my father can't listen to you. He don't have anybody to hear your complaints.
But it ain't him. see, if I was in control, things would be different. I ain't in
Not
control.
just in
If I was
control. If I was made a judge.
Yeah.
So this there are degrees of slight against his father without it being an overt attack on his father's position.
And you know,
He didn't say if I was king,
yeah.
so it don't look like he coming at his father. He say if I was judge.
No, he probably had a problem for his father not doing nothing to his brother if his brother were his son.
He didn't know. He told her, don't tell nobody.
No, David said when he started saying that we was bitter about it. You know what I'm saying? So Absalom probably was sitting there waiting for David to do something. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna avenge my sister. You know what I'm saying? So either he was thinking he got weak in his old age and didn't need to sit on the throne no way.
You don't know how to righteously vote.
I'm like, one day this throne, you know what I'm saying? Folks hold on the grudges. Don't forget. And you see, and he was David's boy. David can hold on to
I think we still know how to hold on to grudges. But yeah, I agree with you 100%, sis. That's what he was doing. He was siphoning off those people, to a different I don't want to use the term worship, but to hold him as king and lead. And remember when he was going to Hebron, he said, when I get a word, tell the people that I'm king in Hebron, so that I get the people over here with me. It wasn't even the same place. And then we're gonna go back and take it.
And it was the days of kings. So, back in them days, the kingship was the most highly sought after position versus like doing our occupancy, which is the highest you can be, is a high priest.
Right.
Can't be no king because Caesar the king. You know what I mean? So it's like, or Cyrus the king.
Right.
So the only thing your goal after that was to either try to be the governor or the high priest. But
real quick, fam, I posted the link to that video that we were watching earlier. It's part 1. And it was called From Jesus to the Christ, I think. The beginnings of Christianity, something along those lines. Yeah, interesting. It's a PBS Frontline. Yes, they show a lot of Gentiles in place of Jews, but they also show you a couple of images. Rib called one where some darker images, but you could tell somebody was like tried to scrub the features, but you could still see it was darker images.
They're very careful with the images they put up there so that later on the images start changing. Over the last maybe 500 or so years, the images started changing to resemble what's now known as the Ish people. But before that, you can see some really old ones where
clearly Greek and Roman features all over the place. But it helps to paint a clear picture that it was a lot of Greeks and Romans there. There's a lot of Greeks and Romans there. Dr. Kimmy says, it reminded me of the guy who challenged Moses and Aaron for the priesthood, and they had a vote. And when they all lost, it was off with their heads, off with them heads.
Family in him. So what? He was in Pharaoh's house. So what?
Yeah. Hey. Yeah, that's my kind of vote right there. Y'all already ordained who it is, but you want to vote on it. Okay, yeah, come on. You want to have a vote, don't you? Come on. No, come on. Come on, you want to vote. I heard you say it yesterday. Come on, we finna vote. Nope. Don't back out now. All you voting Negroes, bring your tail. We're gonna let it be a vote. That's what you want.
Voted, Father. And we decided, did you vote?
Yeah, did you really? Yeah. Yes, we are in a serious conundrum with reversing our understanding from what we have been steeped in living here to understand the inner workings of the governmental system that the Most High put in place for us. Like it is completely upside down. And it ain't gonna be right till y'all make it right. You know, man ain't gonna make this right. Because right now we got, you know, uh, leaders that want to lord and master, make people kiss their boots. And what y'all say, lick their boots. And take your women and your wives and your sisters and your 12-year-old daughters. That's the idea of right ruling these days. Y'all's not gonna do it. Coach Natasha?
When we were talking about Epsilon, it made me think of at the end of that week, like when he was talking to Shlomo about all the people that came up against him in strife. And I feel like he saved Epsilon for Shlomo because he knew he wasn't going to be able to
You breaking
destroy
up.
his side.
Your mic is going in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He knew he wouldn't be able to destroy his son. So I feel like he saved all of his problem people for Shlomo, and Shlomo took them all out. Even his brother. His brother. He didn't have a problem with it. And I just feel that's like when we talk about Epsilon and his punishment, I think that was his punishment because he tried to do the same thing with Shlomo and overthrow him for the throne. And Shlomo was like, "Yeah, I'm not my father," and took him right then and there.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't get to that.
Epsilon had a big head. He thought that it was a done deal.
I am the most beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
My hair weighs 200 shekels.
That's gonna be an interesting read, John, when we get to all that. What she was just talking about.
Shlomo's throne was interesting.
I always get and this may be part of where they got this from, but I always get Godfather vibes when I read about this whole exchange, the father and the sons vying for who's next in line to fill the seat of the father. The blood, the wars between them and the father's enemies surrounding the throne. One son coming in to clean everything up and clearly taking over the seat of authority. Yeah. Coach, you said you get that too? Okay. Okay. She would know. She don't watch The Godfather.
No.
You say you too? Okay. Well, y'all gonna have to strap your sister in a seat one day and make her watch it so she can see the similarities too. Fill up for the caffeine.
Yes, he set his sister up to be raped in order to kill his brother. He did a lot.
Dang, sis. Dang. Yeah. You know what? I never thought about it in that way. That was his plan from the beginning. But
no, Absalom didn't set her up. That was the cousin.
Yeah.
Remember that was
Yonadab.
Yonadab was, and then Yonadab.
Yeah, it was from the beginning. He literally told his brother how to get her alone, told him step by step what to say, what to do, and all of that.
That was Jonadab, the cousin.
Oh yeah.
You can see how they may have feelings too, because they probably feel like the throne probably could have, should have be theirs too. You know what I'm saying? By them being kinfolk, by them being kings that way. So, he played devil's advocate. He set the brother up so that she could rape the sister, and then so that he could rape the sister, and then when Absalom killed him, and the word had got back to the king that all his sons were dead, then he came back and slid back in the king era and was like, no, all your sons ain't dead.
You can see that in the overlay for the underplay too. Tell them all of them dead first.
Mm-hmm.
And then tell them, no, that was a mistake. It's just one of them.
And so now he the hero because he the one that tell the king, see, it's Absalom. He killed, you know what I'm saying? Just like on some snaky stuff, but never told him his part in the whole thing. Never told what he did.
Coach Keisha, you haven't watched The Godfather either?
Oh.
We're gonna have to have a watch party.
I told Shlomo, that's one of Shlomo's favorite movies. One of mine is The Color Purple. He hates The Color Purple. You would think somebody was, every time I put it on, was scraping down his face with a fork. Just double scraping, just back and forth, just digging in his face with the way he be when I put on The Color Purple. Yes. Yes. Godfather is so slow. It's just like, oh my goodness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Family, it is always a blessing and a pleasure. We're going to go ahead and say shalom and shalom. Shalom, shalom, and shalom.
Right, shalom.
Love y'all too, family.
Love y'all.
We'll see y'all next Hey, tell us what y'all think of that documentary if you watch it next time. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
This is Project Wake Up Jacob. On the Sabbath we rest and reflect upon his goodness.